Kate came over from Austria before Andrew came over? Where did they come over from?
I don't think it was Austria because my dad was in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And his sister there was there too, so she came over, he went with her to the west.
Mm-hmm.
They were either North Dakota or Montana. My dad worked on the farm out there for about a year. He was a good wrestler. He was a champion wrestler. They called him a Gutch. That was the name of the wrestling champ of the time.
Uh-huh.
And after a year, my dad heard that there was good work in Cleveland because they wanted skilled carpenters for the art museum. And he went there for a job, and he got that job.
I had no idea. That's amazing he helped build the art museum.
Well, he was a specialist in carpentry. As a young man, very young,
Uh-huh.
in his teens. He didn't go to grade school, really. He worked right away. And then he went to the parish church that my mother belonged to because he spoke German, and this parish church was German. So he met her at a mass ball.
A mass ball?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He said, after he was dancing with her, "Emma, can I see your face?" She said, "No, you can't." So anyway, he went back and they finally fell in love enough to get married and stayed in Cleveland all that time. And let's see.
Did Emma grow up in Cleveland?
Yeah. She got married, lived in my grandfather's, her father's house. Well, the house that she grew up in as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived there for a number of years. Then my dad built houses at that time. So he built us a house out of the end of Cleveland. And from then on, it was a question of Dad building another house, we moving out of our old, moving into the new. So, and he built this house that we lived in, that you may have known, about 1948, 49. And we lived there ever since until he died in that house. And that's about it for as far as he's concerned.
I only remember the house that Uncle Ed and Aunt Helen lived in.
That's the one.
Is that it?
My dad built that house.
I didn't know he built it.
Yeah. He built the house. They lived there about 50 years. 50 years or so.
Oh, I didn't realize that was that house.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Time marches on. After Helen died, Alice, no, she didn't get married out of that one. She got married out of another house in Cleveland Heights. My dad never told us too much about himself. And when he did talk about the past, he always repeated the same story, you know.
Oh yeah.
About how he came over, went as a farmer in the West, Montana, didn't like farming, came to Cleveland as a carpenter. Always the same. Yeah. From then on came, now if all of us five had gotten married and had kids, there'd be so many.
I know, the family tree would be overwhelming. I know that Aunt Mary Jo keeps track of it. She's been making a detailed family tree.
Who is?
Aunt Mary Jo.
She is?
Yeah, and I think she's tried to track it back a ways, but there is someone keeping track of all of it. But I wrote these notes when I was with Grandma just because I wanted to keep track of it for myself and go through it with Grandma.
It would be nice if I had gone to the Mormon library They have a place for way back.
Oh, yeah?
Genealogy. The Mormons specialize in genealogy.
Oh.
And you can get your people down to the 13th century who want. Look up the one in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Ask them where my family came from, your family. Wow, that's nice. And this
That's
is,
the other side. Paul and Ruth.
Oh, Paul and Alice.
Well, and it's funny that
What is that?
the Krejci. Alice's name, Paul's mother's name was Alice.
Oh, I see.
And his wife's name was Alice.
That's it.
That's why it's...
That's it. And then Ruth, Karen.
I just met Miriam, or I mean, I met her when I was really little, but Miriam lives in Reno. And my dad and I went up to see her a couple months ago. Miriam's really tall. That whole side of the family is pretty tall, too.
That's the Rita. What was she?
It's Karen, Miriam, is it Sarah, Chris? And Karen passed away a year ago.
Most likely. You know,
I know that my dad was really close to both his aunts, his Aunt Ruth and his Aunt Helen. I didn't realize that Aunt Helen helped out so much when, after Paul passed away. I hadn't realized she was over there all the time.
I liked Helen. Well, I like Alex, of course. I like them all.
But Helen was sweet that way.
Very good. This is your father.
No, that one's of me
That's
and
your-
Colin.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any hair. Already bald.
It's a wisdom. Sign of wisdom. He could come back, you know.
The hair? That would be surprising.
It costs a lot of money. There's one of our ladies who works for us. They are gems to us.
Yeah.
We love all of them. So kind.